War Eagle again. It's kind of interesting when you do a coaching search and you communicate with your staff and you communicate with Dr. Roberts, our president here at Auburn, and he says, tell me about these folks. And I said, well, Chris Malveaux is kind of stoic. He's like a scientist type guy, and he's one of the best hitting guys in the country, and he's very, very thoughtful and intellectual, and he can really, really teach the game. And he said, well, tell me about Kate. And I thought about it, and I thought, she's got some Bruce Pearl in her. And I know Bruce is actually here. She's never met a stranger. She can really recruit, and every opportunity she has individually with fans, with recruits, with the person walking down the street, she makes the most of it. Really incredible communication skills. Chris has head coaching experience. Kate has outstanding recruiting evaluation experience and is a great teacher of the catching position. And I know from experience in softball and baseball that catching, teaching ability is incredibly important to future success. Chris is one of the most brilliant offensive minds in collegiate softball, and everybody who knows the game will tell you that. Kate was a former standout player at Bradley University. These two have combined for 27 years of coaching experience. The Malveaux have combined for 14 different championships that they've been a part of. They've combined for 10-plus NCAA postseason appearances. They've combined to help produce 14 softball All-Americans. They're part of unprecedented success at the University of Tennessee, including SEC titles, SEC tournament titles, and trips to Oklahoma City. The synergy of these two coaches is something that jumps off the page at you, and I know future recruits and the members of the Auburn softball team are going to feel that. It's clear that future and current student athletes feel that Chris and Kate are among the best player development coaches available in the country. And they are parents to Gabe and to Ellie. And by the way, you guys have been stars. You've been quiet this whole time, so well done. My two would have never been that quiet at your age. So please welcome the fourth and fifth head coaches in Auburn softball history, Kate and Chris Malveaux.
You know, it's not too often that Kate lets me go first. I'm gonna enjoy this moment. You'll see when she gets up here how passionate she is. First, I'd like to thank John. Thank you for this opportunity. We are so pumped to be here. War freaking Eagle, man. Let's do this. There's been moments, in reflection, whenever we've had 5 minutes, off to the side if we're not on the phone or recruiting, on the road. And the amount of times that we've sat here and thought, like, we are running this Auburn softball program. What an amazing honor. First, I'd like to go through and thank some amazing people, amazing influences in our lives. First, I'd like to thank God for this opportunity. Only you can make this possible. Before I move on, my family, John just talked about having our family here. That was a big part of our decision, John wanting this to be family. My two kids, Gabe and Ellie, they've been soldiers along this ride, and So thankful for you guys. Love you guys so much and so proud of you. Kate, you know, she's basically the yin to my yang, right? We hear that a lot in people that are around us, and they're like, oh my God, she's this and you're this, and it's perfect. You know, Kate has been, she's been by my side for, at least 10 years, and then but 10 plus. You know, she's such a backbone to our family. Very good at holding me accountable and making sure that I'm doing the things I'm supposed to be doing and when I'm doing them. But thank you so much for being an amazing wife. I've loved this journey and excited for this new stage to be able to share this with you. So appreciative of you. Thank you. Former players, again, would not be standing here if we didn't have some great players along the way. I'm a big journey person. I love going on the journey with people, being in the trenches, being in the cages on the field, in the dugout. I love that journey and being on a team and being able to do it with people. Been so fortunate to be around some amazing players over the years. We wouldn't be here without them. The trusting, wanting to work together, the camaraderie. Hopefully I've made some form of impact on their lives that's remotely comparable to the ones they've made on mine. So very appreciative of all the former players. Also, people that have believed in me on this journey. I started off in college softball at A&M when I was a student under Coach Evans. She's a sole person that really got me into college softball. So fortunate for that. Along the way, my first college job, Scott Eastman at McNeese. Went to UL with the Low-Tees, who very instrumental in kind of showing a blueprint of how a husband and wife would do this. Very amazing program. Amy Hayes, Megan Smith, Larissa Anderson at Mizzou gave me the first opportunity to be in the SEC and totally had my eyes wide open of what this amazing league is like. And, really had a tremendous learning opportunity there. Very fortunate for the sacrifices that she's made for our family. Karen Weekly took a chance on us. Her husband, Ralph, retired. Big shoes to fill right there, and she trusted us. Very appreciative of our friendship and our mentorship, and we look forward to continuing that relationship down the road. I'm going to try to keep this short because I know there's going to be a lot of questions. Auburn is such an amazing community. Great people. We were here a couple times this year. I've been here before. Everyone is so welcoming, so hospitable. It's just amazing to be around these people that love living here. They love Auburn. The amount of people that have come out of the woodworks that we didn't even know who had Auburn ties over the years is just amazing, this network. The thirst for softball to continue to grow. It's been a national powerhouse. It's been runner-up in the World Series. That's what we want to get to. But we are so fortunate to be here in such an incredibly special place. War Eagle. Yeah.
I don't think very often you get to hear from two head coaches at once. This is probably a new thing, but we're super grateful. And good morning, and War Eagle. I'm going to try and not repeat what Chris said, but I think he did a fantastic job of showing just how excited we are to be here and all the tradition and vision, ultimately, that we're looking forward to building here at Auburn. I think we're incredibly honored and humbled to usher in the new era of Auburn softball. That doesn't go without a lot of work that was laid prior to us. We're so grateful, first and foremost, like Chris said, to God for all the struggles and the successes that we've had. We know we wouldn't be here without having the opportunities that he's put in front of us. Sorry, you'll hear me. I talk a lot, so this voice doesn't go away. A big thank you to John Cohen and his staff. They did a fantastic job of making this feel like home from the very start. They're incredible people. They've sat in our seats. They know what it takes to win, and we're just so grateful that they saw in us what the vision that we have for this program and where we can take it. Another big shout out to Casey Page, specifically our sport admin. Man, she's been boots on the ground with us from the minute we started in more ways than she probably knows, and so we're just beyond grateful for that. To Ralph and Karen Weekly specifically, like Chris said, they gave us a shot to work together and really do this thing. And they showed us, they gave us the blueprint that husband and wives can do it. They are friends, they are family, and we are just beyond grateful for the experience that they gave us and our kids. For every coach that I ever played for, or for every coach that I ever worked with, you have impacted my life in such a way that I can only hope that I make the same impact for the young ladies that we're gonna work with here at Auburn. For every player that we've ever coached, for every player that has ever touched this Auburn softball program, we appreciate you, and we are so grateful for the faith that you've had in us, for the love that you've given to your programs and our families, and for the trust to guide you. Thank you for letting us be part of your journey. To my family and to Chris's family, they have driven so many miles to help make this happen. Obviously, we have 2 little ones, and so it sometimes is an interesting puzzle, but we wouldn't have it any other way, and we are beyond grateful for the sacrifices that they have made to help us do what we do. To Gabe and Ellie, I know Chris touched on it, but you're rock stars, and you have sacrificed so much for mom and dad to be able to do this, but we know how cool it is too, and they're gonna be a big part of it. Lastly, to Chris, Chris is my rock. Like, I'm a Spitfire, don't get me wrong, but whenever things get hard or whenever I need to bounce ideas, he's the one I go to. He's the first one when I'm excited about something. I'll run up to him and I'm like, the catchers did this. He goes, I know nothing about that, but let's talk about it. And it's a lot of fun, but I think the flip side of that is it would be so easy. Chris is one of the best at what he does. And it would be so easy for him to want to take his own route and go, but he sees me for who I am as a person and as a coach, and he has pushed me to be better every step of the way, and he wants me to be my own person. Not everybody would do that. And so I think that just speaks to his character and who he is. I am so grateful that we get to do this together. Beyond grateful. I love you. That was a lot. We're gonna keep going. Listen, we know where this program has been. I mean, you look at it, there's 18 NCAA postseason runs, 10 of which have come straight down the stretch. 2 amazing Women's College World Series runs. You've got 2 SEC championships underneath our belts, a bunch of All-Americans, Pitchers of the Year, Freshman of the Year. I mean, you look at the players that have left their mark on this program, from your Maddie Pentas here as of late, your Casey Coopers, your Emily Carasonis, your Holly Curries. They are what laid the foundation for us to come in and do what we're going to do here at this place. And I don't think you can go where you're going without knowing where you've been. So we're incredibly grateful for what Auburn softball has done, for what Mickey Dean and his staff has done to set us up for amazing success moving forward. We're most excited to get boots on the ground. If you know anything about us, we're big developers. That we want to get our hands dirty and get to work. I think the players are learning that real fast just in our conversations with them. But we're going to develop elite level talent, and we're going to ensure that ultimately that when they leave this place, they're going to tap into every single bit of their athletic experience, but leave here better people for the lives that they're going to touch from here on out, including the ones that they're going to touch in this community on a daily basis. Again, we're not afraid to work. We've proven that we can build, and we can build fast. And man, we're gonna chase championships. That's what we're gonna do here. And that's what we expect out of our players. You're gonna work hard, you're gonna outwork everybody, and you're gonna demand nothing but the best from everybody around you. And we are just beyond excited for this new era to kick it off. And we want this community, we want the alumni, we want the donors, we want the fans. We want you to be part of it because you are part of the family. That matters to us. So come out, be a part of it. We're gonna find standing room if we need to, and War Eagle.
Hey guys, Adam Cole with the Opelika-Auburn News. You both touched on it, but I did want to ask, just like what do the logistics of being co-head coaches kind of look like to you guys? How do you, I guess, kind of separate those things, so to speak, amongst yourselves?
Well, I think the easiest way to answer that, like Chris is a brilliant mind. He's a brilliant mind, and I think obviously when you go over to take a head coaching job, everybody's like, can you continue to be in the weeds the way that he wants to be in the weeds to coach the offense? I mean, that's what his claim to fame is building offenses. I think the best part about the head coaching gig is that I've sat in a lot of the rooms and a lot of the different roles that I've been a part of to have set me up for success to help be a head coach. So I'm gonna hopefully be able to take some of that responsibility that goes on to one person off so that he can stay in that offensive role, because we all know that sometimes you have to give a little bit in these roles to be able to manage an entire team and not just an offense. So I think with that being said, we live in the same household, so things are gonna get talked about, let's be real. But a lot. But to that point, I think the reason why this is gonna work really well, Chris hit on it, what he is may not be my strength. What my strengths may not be his. So you get the best. Every head coach is gonna have flaws, every single one of them. You don't have those flaws because you get both. And I think that's what makes this really unique. So we'll divide the duties, but we're gonna make sure that he can be in the cages to help run this offense.
To either one of you, the roster you inherit and the recruits, how are you balancing that, and do you expect everybody that's still here to be back?
You know, obviously we've got to make a jump. You know, we've got to climb the ranks. You know, sooner than later. And you know, most of the people, you know, well, everyone that's still here, we're planning on coming back. We are involved in the portal. You know, only for, you know, certain people that have been proven, you know, or we know, man, if they can put this and this together, they're going to help us make that jump sooner than later. You know, kind of what we're looking for, you know, when we go recruiting, obviously you want athletes, right? What we want to do with the culture here is probably a little bit step further past that, right? We want good work ethic, you know, people that are competitive. They want to get better. They want to get in there and understand what it's like to, hey, you know, I'm figuring this out. I'm gonna stay here until I know I have this down. You know, we're gonna push ourselves in the weight room. We're gonna pursue excellence in every aspect of what a program does, in the classroom, on the field, in the weight room. You know, we want this culture to take a step forward. You know, let's get a little bit more where, you know, the players that are here are competitive and understand that work ethic. You know, but also sometimes to make it a little bit easier, we also want to bring others in that may help us, like, set that example, and we can see that firsthand. We want to be able to make that jump forward as soon as possible, and we want to make sure we have the right people here. We've had conversations with players here in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. You know, when we had a Zoom the day of when everything was announced. A couple days later, we were out on Toomer's Corner, had a little ice cream with about 8 or 9 that were in town. You know, started kind of like meet in person then, and really they can kind of start getting a feel for our personalities. You know, had some people that weren't able to be there, either had some phone calls later on. They're maybe helping a travel team in a tournament that we were at. So, you know, been able to have some conversations there of, you know, what's going to be expected, you know, moving forward. We feel like the players that are here have been all about it, and they're excited. You know, they want to take a step forward. You know, they want to work, they want to win, they want to be competitive, and that's our goal. You know, at the end of the day, you know, if you totally, you know, cut a roster, you know, you don't know if you're cutting the right or wrong, you know, people but if they want that and they want to get in and go, then let's go. But we've gotten some good feedback. You know, it sounds like, you know, they want this, and we want this too, and so let's do it.
Bill Cameron, ESPN 1067. You mentioned it a little while ago, but how important was it, or did you guys let any possible suitors know that you needed to be brought in as a team? And then a little follow-up on that, just talk about the difference in being the head coach and co-head coaches. How does it work during the ball games? I understand, you know, you talk about things in the dugout, but something happens on the field. Who runs out?
That's a good question.
No, I think, you want to go?
Go ahead.
No, I think people all the time want to say why it won't work instead of why it will. And I think that there's been some great people in this game that have shown how they can do it. I think ultimately we've created a staff that is going to maximize what we're already building. From a head coaching standpoint, obviously Chris can speak to being a head coach on his own. But I think whenever you're talking about on-field responsibilities, like a lot of the conversations that have been had before, those conversations on decision-making and what's going to happen, those have been discussed well before the game. Chris has proven that he can manage an offense and a roster. He's done that already as a head coach. I think whenever it comes to running a team, there will be voices that echo the same message. My message is Chris's message. Our assistants will then also echo that same message. If you have one message coming from the head coach and it's not coming from me or another assistant, we're all doing ourselves a disservice to those kids, right? That's where division comes. I actually think the co-head coaching thing is perfect because decisions will be made jointly, okay? Obviously, there will be times that he's gonna have to make decisions without consulting me, and I'll talk to him about those at home, okay? And that is fine. I'll get over it, okay? And vice versa, But I think at the end of the day, I mean, if with one head coach, there are decisions that have to be made in the moment and go. We do what we can at the best moment based on what that is. Chris will be the speaking acting head coach. He will be the speaking head coach when it comes to dealing with umpires and whatnot. That will most likely happen. Now listen, as we get going, he may want to be in the dugout more. If that's the case, I'm not afraid to go. I've been around this game plenty. I've been in the SEC plenty. I can do that. I think that's the cool thing is that we've both done it. So I think it'll be fun. I think we're gonna work through what that's gonna look like more as we get going now that we have our staff in place. But look at him, he's like, we're gonna talk about that. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, he's got the head coaching experience in that regard, but don't count me out.
Ditto.
Jacob Goins, ESPN 1067. It's a question for both of you from the offensive and the defensive perspective. Coming into and taking over an SEC program, an SEC that's getting better in just a couple of weeks with Texas, Oklahoma. What does that mean from both sides of the game and just taking over this program in the SEC? It's the best conference in college softball.
I think that's what makes it so much fun. With the addition of those two, you know, there is not, you know, you really have no room for error. It was already a tough conference to maneuver through, right, week by week. You know, you're still going to have the same number of conference series, you know, so at the end of the day, you know, you're still not breathing, right, and you're still, okay, we got to go to this one. And, you know, it kind of go back some, you know, some things that we were able to kind of figure out even like at Tennessee. You know, if you look across the board, I don't know if you can say, okay, this team has the most talent, and this team, everybody's good. Every single team is good. I think one thing that we all learn as a staff there is just how to maneuver each weekend. At the end of the day, you're still doing the exact same thing. You have this challenge this weekend. Now you got this challenge, and you start getting mentally exhausted, right? You get in the middle of conference, it's just like, man, it's one after another. And it's gonna still be similar. You know, now you're just adding two more great teams. And, you know, we're excited for that challenge. I do feel like with our experience in going through it, we can help our team, you know, with a solid perspective and how to tackle this next weekend. Now we're going to this one, and but one thing you just about guarantee now, like there's gonna be a lot of SEC opponents and super regionals. There's a lot more matchups there, and that makes things tough. If you've played them and all right, you've already played them 3 times. Now you got to play them. You got to take 2 from them again, and I think there's going to be a lot more of that. But there's also become more familiarity, with playing against Texas and Oklahoma with all of the teams in our conference. That's a mystique. Before, you may see them at a tournament, or go and, play them once or, some random place. But now there's a lot more familiarity with each other, and that kind of switches how those weekends are going to be like. But we're excited for that challenge. It's going to be fun. You just about guarantee almost a World Series champion is going to come from the SEC. There's still some good teams that are not in the conference that are going to, they're going to be in the mix every year. But I think it's going to make which, you'd think, man, how are you going to make it stronger? It's going to make the conference stronger. It's going to make us all better. Bringing those 2 in, it's going to be a new environment for them as well. So, but we're excited. We're excited to tackle that.
Chris, the one place you have hardly any pitching production back. Is that a position you're looking at strongly in the portal?
Yes. First, I want to address Riker coming on staff. I personally believe he's the best pitching coach in the country, and he's going to continue to get better. Incredibly sharp, high-character person, and wants what's best for the players. If you talk to his former players, they love him, and they know they're going to get pushed. They know they're going to get better, and so, like Kate was talking about developing, when she was talking earlier, the people on our staff understand that importance and have done it before, and Riker has developed time and time again. That's a passion of his. There's been solid pitchers in places he's been at that have gotten a lot better. But we also know there's only 4 on staff, and like you said, not a lot of experience. So we are looking to bring maybe a couple in to help with that, as well as continue to build and develop the pitchers that we have on staff. I've been in the other dugout, and I've been, where situation where we've had to scout. There are pitchers on staff that have some good stuff. I think we can make them better. But we also want to add a couple in, to really solidify that circle.
Thank you, guys.
War Eagle.